This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
We're not going to have any hook sets tonight, bud.
Yeah, really. What's the point? You know, none whatsoever. We're going to get into our guest here tonight because he's got iffy cell service, and we want to get his story right away. If not, if we lose him, we'll come up with something else to talk about. But the funny thing is, I see this guy on the river this weekend, and I told my buddy, I'm like, does that guy understand, or where did he come from? Does he get how a wahi can be? He goes, oh, he's probably from North Dakota. So I yelled out, hey, you from North Dakota? No, I came from Three Forks, Montana. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to interview you. So I talked to him on the boat, and then he had messaged me later, and then I asked him to be on the show here today.
Well,
so
he actually must have dropped off already.
Out, of course.
So I don't know if you got the video loaded of when you talked to him.
I was going to do that, and I don't know. Let me see. As long as we're kind of winging it.
Looks like he's popping back in right now. Here he is. We'll bring him in quick.
Yep, you go ahead and talk to him. I'm going to see if I can find that video in case we lose him.
Hey, Justin, how's it going? Do we got you? So people know, like, Justin is kayaking from Three Forks, Montana. There he is. Hey, Justin, how's it going? Do we got you now? Are you there? Can you hear us?
Sounds like it's raining. Certainly got that.
Can you hear us?
I'm back.
All right, buddy. How's it going?
I went to one bar. Doing good so far.
Well, you are out in the middle of nowhere.
I definitely am.
So let's hear your story. Why we got a little bit of service. So you're kayaking from Three Forks, Montana to Missouri, but where are you from? How'd you come up with this crazy adventure?
I'm from down by Cape Girardeau, but this is one of those things. I did the Mississippi in 21, and the whole deal with Mississippi was it was a precursor to doing this river, and this river is no joke when it comes to lakes and all that. 830 something miles of lakes. You've got 11 dams. You can't lock through any of them. You got portage every single one of them. I mean, this one, it's a test. That's what it is. And it has definitely. Oh, it's definitely a trip. Yeah.
Here we're looking at this map. You can see Three Forks has the round dot with the arrow to the upper left-hand side. And then the approximate area, actually, I think you're actually further south now, getting a little closer to Fort Thompson. When I ran into you, you were, let's just say, in the Sutton Bay area, just for sake of argument. So you've done this so far, and you've got the rest to go. I had to do this too because I thought, we got to put you in there and do like they do on TV. So. Anyway.
So you've been at this for how many days?
I've been out here almost 71, I think, but I'm on day 57 paddling.
Wow. So
I've had a lot of rain, a lot of heavy winds, so I just 0 days. I just keep track of them.
Well, here, let me see. I think this is day one. Okay, so you started on the water day one, June 21st.
Yeah, June 20th, 21st.
So you're down by the Fort Thompson area right now. Are you still there? Or did we lose you? Hey, there he is.
I'm still here.
So you're down by the Fort Thompson area. Do you have so I talked to some guys that have done this before, or I told you earlier, two of my buddies took a pontoon from Three Forks, Montana, all the way to Pier one year. The next year they went from Pier to St. Louis, Missouri in their pontoon, but they met kayakers and they said they have like a little sail you hook on the front to catch the wind and go. Do you have anything like that?
I don't have that.
That's great paddling.
just paddling. I mean, it's a workout for sure. But
So
like,
why are we doing this? Like just for the adventure to say I did it? Is there a reason behind it or
well, my buddy, he put the idea of me paddling the Mississippi in my head, and then he went and got in a snowmobile wreck up in Canada and dissected his aorta from his heart.
Oh my.
He was 8 hours from a ambulance to get him to the hospital, but they strapped him up behind a sled and they drug him out of there, and they got him to the hospital, and they got him patched up. He was in a coma for a week. He was lost of blood flow to the leg or lower half of the body for 8 hours or whatever. So he had partial paralyzation in his legs, lost his large intestine and his gallbladder. And this is one of the toughest dudes I know. And for anybody else, they wouldn't have made it through that. But he made it through, and I'm like, dude, I said, don't think just because you're in a hospital bed that you're going to get out of this trip. And he says, dude, let's go. He says, I'm down for it. He said, let's do it. And then it was like a month before we left, he's like, he says, I physically cannot do it. And I'm like, well, I'm going to keep on going. And I was like, I'm going to do it for you. So
Wow.
that's kind of how it come along, and I just I go ahead and do this, and I have fun doing it. And eventually I'll get out to Phoenix area and go hang out with him, go kayak, I don't know, Big Bend and a couple other spots out there.
so were you a big kayaker previous your trip down the Mississippi, or was this like I'm doing this?
I've kayaked before. I've got whitewater boats. I've got play boats and little river boats and stuff like that. But I mean, never anything longer than a 15-mile trip. So day one I done beat more than that. But I haven't gone camping. I don't know, probably 2005, 2006 was the last time I went camping, and then 2021 I just jumped right into it.
And now Mother Nature is your home.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and she's not very nice at times.
No, well, you got a little bit of rain right now, maybe cooling things down. You'll have cooler weather Friday and Saturday. How
Yeah.
about things like rattlesnakes? Are you on the west side, or are you staying on the east side if
I
you
haven't
can?
even seen one yet.
Okay.
The only snakes I've seen was two little gardener snakes, and they were about 15 foot apart. But I mean, I haven't seen one yet.
Okay. Well,
You're almost out of that country. So if you keep, you're almost out of rattlesnake country. But so you do this kind of in honor of your buddy. I mean, it was his crazy idea. You decide to do it. What is Justin's background? What you grew up in Missouri? What do you do for a job? What did you do? Like you said, if you hadn't been camping since 2005 and 2021, you hop into it.
So I graduated high school in 2001, and I went to the Marines in 2001. Graduated boot camp last week, about 24 days ago, or 24 years ago, something like that. Or 23 years ago, I guess. But we beat 9/11 and all that stuff. But we, do what I call the fun years, the 2003, 2004 Iraq trips. But after all that, we got out. I went to school for a little while, decided I hated that, got me a job, crushed my hand, ended up going back to school. I found a program. So I did that one, and then did power sports. And I worked in a machine shop for almost 8 years before I quit my job to go kayak to Missouri or the Mississippi.
Wow. So you're a Marine?
After I got off that one, I'll say after I got off on that one, I got a little security job. I was three miles from my house, so I ran that one for almost 18 months before they decided to go with another company for outside security. So that gave me an opportunity to go again.
So you're a Marine. Do you? And I'm serious when I ask you, are you eating bugs and stuff in nature, or do you have a whole
No,
bunch of food packed along?
dude, I've been stopping at dollar stores and stuff like that, and basically it's like nor rice sides, Kansas spam, Kansas chicken,
Okay.
any kind of grain, you know, oatmeal in the mornings, protein shake in the morning. But it's like I definitely wasn't eating enough in the beginning.
Start getting a little thin, a little weak.
Dude, I was pushing it to try to get 20 miles a day, and it wasn't
Ooh.
happening anymore. And
At
I
how
was
many
doing
miles an hour? What,
33,
4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour? What's your top speed in a kayak like that?
uh, fully loaded on flat water in a lake, about 5.1, and then
Yeah.
if I have a current, I can get 6.5, almost 7.
Okay. Well, you should have had a little current on Oahe. Things have been moving there. I was trying to scope, and I couldn't keep my jig straight down. I had to go the other side of the boat 30 feet over, so you had to have some current, a little bit of help anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a current, the winds were, you know, exact opposite of it. So.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
right, of course. Yeah, that's usually the way it goes. I did get this question, and I knew Ryan wouldn't be able to be on the show, but he was really kind of curious about charging your electronics.
Okay, so really the only electronics I have is my phone. Um, I got a little radio with me, but I'm running a 30-watt solar panel, um, and I've got 4 battery banks, but I've only been using 2 of them.
I suppose you've got if you've got sunshine, you're charging. So
Yeah, well,
having juice is not a big deal.
no, it really ain't. Because I mean,
Okay.
I can run this one battery bank for like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, even more if I don't have signal. Can't play on anything. So I got a couple offline games I can play, but that's about it. A couple movies downloaded.
I've watched the same movie 9 times. I'm over it, type of deal.
Yeah, right. I suppose. Yeah,
Like,
well, it's entertainment.
It's one of those. It's like, how many times can you watch 1,000 Ways to Die in the West? I mean, it's funny, but
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. It was it was a good movie, but it was not what I expected. I was a little bummed out.
no.
So you do this trip, you're going along, it's kind of you and nature, man. There's nothing out there. So last week you were up on the Lake Oahe. Were you in the area of where all the bad storms? I mean, the bad storms came across, the northern part of Lake, northern part of South Dakota on Lake Oahe. It all hit to the east, but were you in that area at that point, or were you past that?
I was just south of Mobridge, and the storm actually split, and all the red went south of me, and just a little green path went through where I was at. But I mean, where I was at, there was a hill, and there was like 4 trees, and the eagles were roosting in the trees. So I was like, I'm good here. I'm like, the eagles aren't going to roost in a storm if it's going to be bad.
Right. So are you seeing buffalo? You seeing prairie chickens and stuff like that along the way?
All I'm seeing is like eagles. I had a pack of turkeys walk through, climb the hill behind me this morning. One black bear. If you pay attention, she was in the river up on like a 10-foot, stand or whatever. But she was sitting on that and never even turned around to see me.
No kidding. We lost you a little bit there. I swear you said you saw a black bear, but I know you didn't see a black bear in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Did you say you saw a black bear?
Yeah, it was in. I think I was still in Montana.
Montana, yeah,
Montana or North Dakota.
Well, I will tell you this now that I'm sure you're past all the big reservoirs. Like now you're on
skinny water.
Now you're on skinny water everywhere you go. And my friends that did this 5 years ago, whatever it was, in their pontoon, when they did the southern half, their whole plan was to go southern half to St. Louis, the next year go do the Mississippi, and then go the next year do out to the Gulf. And they got past, they said past Yankton down by Omaha area, it just turned into canals, and they lost the adventure of the nature. Like they said, we're just like in canals the rest of the way. So that's when they decided, when they got to St. Louis, these two are crazy. They put their boat and motor separately on Craigslist, sold the motor, traded the boat for a Volkswagen Beetle, and drove back to Pierre, South Dakota. And they get on the road and they call the guy that they bought the Volkswagen Beetle for, and they're like, "We've got a problem." And he goes, "What's that?" And he goes, "You messed up. You traded us for too cheap." And they hung the phone up on him. But yeah, they actually made a movie about it, and I'll find it and try to post it in our comments. But it's pretty crazy that they did this in a pontoon. And I can't remember. I think it's like 54 shear pins to go from Three Forks, Montana to Pierre, South Dakota in their pontoon.
Oh my.
They got to Bismarck one night and the water dropped on them below the dam, and they got dry docked. Were stuck on shore because they pulled up and the water dropped, and they weren't used to water dropping. You don't have that problem in a kayak, but
right.
It's still, like, I mean, I think each brings its own set of, they had power. You got oars. I mean, and you'll see pictures of their boat. It's absolutely crazy how they rigged everything up, and it was nuts. But I mean, just that sense of adventure, that to take this and say, you know what, I'm dropping everything, I'm strapping what I have to my kayak, and I'm going. But you're by yourself, but up here for sure, you've had to meet, I mean, obviously you met Chasen on the water. You've had to meet people all along the way that are going, "What are you doing?" And I've heard 3 stories about you in the Pierre area.
It's like they all have the same 3 questions. Where did you start? Where are you going? And how many days have you been at it? Every single one of them.
My friends were out on the beach up by Mission Flats, and they said they saw you camping on the north end of Mission Flats. Like they just saw you camping there, and and then somebody said they saw you at the mouth of the Cheyenne I talked to. So pretty cool to, not only get to talk to you tonight, but for people to run into you and see you along the way and be able to, I mean, this is something, it's not a first. I mean, you're not the first to do it. No. People have done it. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we were at West Bend, and a guy pulled up in a kayak, and I said, "Where are you coming from?" And he said, "Missouri." And I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Three Forks, Montana." He was going the opposite way.
Uphill. Yeah.
He was going upriver, and I'm like, and I was like 10. I'm like, the water flows that way, right? Like,
right.
Like, why are you going this way? So the sense of adventure is something that I admire. I mean, to be able to just take off and do this. And I mean, it's not something for everybody. How many days on this trip, or how many days are you going, "What am I doing?" Have you ever got to the point where you just want to call somebody and say, "Come get me"?
I mean, I have, especially with the wind. Usually I just cuss out loud and, keep on going. But when I start cussing at the wind, that's usually when it's a bad day. And I won't go too far after that. I'll find the first available camp spot. I don't care how uneven or if it's angled or wet. I don't care. I will get off the river and just hang it up for a day.
Relax. That's kind of what you're doing today. I hope we're not setting you back any, but no. You seem to have just kind of set up camp early for us. So thank you.
Yeah, I did 22 miles, and most of that was with a tailwind today, and I was fighting. Okay. I was fighting like surfing waves. I'm not fast enough to get on top of them and stay on top, so it'll like break off and slow down. It wears me out doing that.
Yeah, that would be super tough. Here, just for giggles, I had this screenshot from your TikTok account. My kayaking journey, August 7th. You had gone 960 miles so far. So in about 15, 16 days, you almost made 1,000 miles. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I say I'm let's see, where am I at right now? I'm almost 1,300 miles.
Okay.
I think I'm 1,290 or something like that. But it's like
Well,
I'm looking forward to Yankton though. I want to get on that little river, have current, have sandbars.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't find a camp spot on half this stuff because it's anywhere from a 6 to a 20-foot bank. It's like
yeah,
you can't
right.
find that. You can't leave your kayak in the water. But
Yeah,
it's
there
like,
are a lot of cut banks there, no doubt.
I haven't found a whole lot of mud yet.
Oh,
Yeah, no, not.
you got lucky at
probably-
Lake Hawaii. There's spots you step off your kayak, you're going to go to your waist.
That's a lot of them we're talking about.
So making this trip down, my friend said that they got to enjoy the beautiful scenery when they got to Yankton. That after Yankton, they found out their fun of the trip was casinos. Like they stopped at casinos all the way along the way. And the crazy part is they met some guys. I don't remember where it's Kansas or Missouri. They pulled up to some boat club, right? Because they don't have a kayak they can pull up to shore. These guys met them on the water. They invited them in. And these guys come up pheasant hunting with them now. Like they come to South Dakota pheasant hunting. They made lifelong friends on this trip. It's pretty incredible to see this, and it's fun to meet new people and have a guy on an adventure. I gotta ask, have you tipped your kayak over yet and soaked everything you own?
Nope.
Not yet.
And I hope you don't text us.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope I didn't just jinx you on that.
That is the one.
You get on skinnier water, and it's not going to be as bad.
No, see, I have yet to go for an unintentional swim on any kayak that I've been on.
So I'm guessing. Let's take a peek here. You're pretty well. You're strapped down. Everything's strapped tight. So if you were to roll over, it's not like you're going to lose stuff. Everything looks pretty secure. And maybe the only thing you lose is you.
All my heavy stuff's inside.
Okay.
And it's like everything on top is all lightweight stuff. I mean, it's basically stuff I get out every single night. My tent, my sleeping bag, camp kitchen, and then one bag's basically all it is a 4-pack of toilet paper.
Okay. Oh, like speaking of toilet paper, I was going to ask you. I don't see the toilet here anywhere. What do you?
I actually mailed it home. I'll say I had one. I mailed it home.
You did. Well, you used Mother Nature. There you go.
Yeah.
Whatever's available. A tree stump.
Find a spot you can actually dig a hole in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Well, and now you're out of the way of a surprise rattlesnake biting you in the keister, so you should be good.
Yeah, I stuck my shovel in the ground the other day, and it just laughed at me, and I'm like, "Damn!" I was like, "What did I hit? A rock?" No, it was dirt.
It was shale.
Shale. Yep.
West River shale. Like if you'd have found that mud, the one thing about it is you'd have got that mud in the front of your kayak. It would have made the whole trip with you. West River gumbo never leaves you in South Dakota. Like it never leaves you.
It's a light gray paint. Mm-hmm.
I've had to get it off the tips of my finger or my paddle before. I had to use my fingers. Yeah.
So while you're doing this, are you fishing for food at all?
I don't eat fish. I fish, but more or less for fun. But I don't have any seasonings. I don't have any oil. I mean, I've got a pan. I can't. I mean, unless I steam it, I ain't really going to be able to cook anything like that.
So are you like stop and load up with waters and Gatorades and whatever your beverage, maybe some beer for at night? Like, is that something you're doing, or is it kind of like you filtering out the water you're going through?
The only place I filtered was Fort Peck. Other than that, I stop at, they're like some of your boat docks or boat ramps have a potable water station you can fill up there. Today I stopped at some lady's house. She wasn't home, and I filled up on the side of her house, and about the time I got done, she pulled up. She didn't mind.
What the hell you're doing?
I said, I knocked. This is what nobody
pull a gun on you.
No, but she was nice, but she's like, because I still had my life jacket on, I had my damn gloves on, everything. I I jumped the riffraff and jumped like crossed the road and walked right to her driveway. I said, I'll knock, see if anybody's home. And I was like, if not, they got a faucet on the side of the house. And I said, I'll fill my water jug up.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like, I said, it works for me. I mean, but other than that, yeah, I mean, I could stop at the store and buy some, but most time you don't need to.
If you're doing this, like, what kind of dollar amount did you budget for this trip? Like, what's your
not enough compared to last time, because my last time I never spent more than $80 at the dollar store or anything like that. I stopped grocery store in Glasgow. That was $250. The Family Dollar in Washburn was $247, and the dollar store the other day was $220. That's
inflation.
Yeah, inflation's horrible. Like I didn't buy anything else that I normally wouldn't have bought, and it was, instead of being like $80, it was $220.
Holy cow!
300%. That's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're buying ribeyes and T-bones and
Vienna sausages and canned chicken.
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, even the Norrye sides, they went from $1 to $1.50. So I mean, it adds up.
Wow.
So on your trip, have you stopped anywhere to sit down and have a cheeseburger, or have you treated yourself to anything like that along the way?
Bars along the river, they have, usually have amazing food, and usually the biggest plate on the menu is the nachos. I haven't met one bar that screws up nachos yet, so hopefully,
pretty hard.
Hopefully, I keep my luck up on that one.
Yeah, every once in a while, there is a bar that buys a cheap corn chip that just, those cheap $2 a bag, hard to chew on. Other than that, the nice thin ones are a little oily and they're fantastic. Or nacho cheese and fries.
I will tell you, when you crest the dam and you get down to the Chamberlain area, you have Cedar Shores on one side, which is a great hotel restaurant area there. But you also have the Smoky Mule on the east side of the river, and they've got some really good barbecue and stuff in there, and the portions are big. Yeah, and then when you get down there, when you get down to the Platte area, you're going to have, I believe, and I will double check for you because I have family down there, that the Dock 44 has a pretty good restaurant right on the river there too. So, but you're going to be after Chamberlain until you get to, Pigstown area. There's going to be no town close to the river. Like everything is 15, 20 miles from the river. So
yeah, they're just, if you look at the map there, and they've just got the major towns on there, but it's just kind of fun to look at the whole trek that you're on there.
Yeah, and the fun part's trying to pack everything in my boat to go 20 days without resupplying. Now, water-wise, I can usually find stuff along the river to resupply water-wise, but I can carry up to, I mean, it's a lot of weight, but I mean, I can carry it.
So when you drink, are you sipping, kind of trying to save on the water, or do you sometimes just have to chug it?
Most of the time I'm just kind of sipping away at it. But it's like I've got a Powerade bottle. Yeah, I got a Powerade bottle that I refill for my jugs, and I'll put Kool-Aid or whatever else in it. Some of this water don't taste good, so you got to put some kind of flavoring in there.
Yeah,
bad well water.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if you were at Lake Hawaii, I'm drinking plenty of whiskey wahis. Like, just dip my cup right in. Even down there ice fishing, I've ran out of mixers and mix my whiskey right with that lake water. It's just fine. I don't know if I do many days on end of it, but a few of them will make it work. So
I've got a Grail water filter, but there's some things I won't trust.
Yeah, you don't want to get out there and get.
I mean, when everybody's telling you, hey, don't filter it past this point, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good with that.
So once you get there, and Geez, you're not even. Are you what's halfway? What's your halfway point?
Halfway was before I met Jason that day.
Okay,
Songbird
so
Bay or something like that. It was right above.
Swiftbird.
It was right above Wilson.
So yeah, so Swiftbird. So you were you were north of the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the halfway point on your journey.
That was the halfway point for the entire river. Now my halfway point's probably about in this area somewhere, probably.
Okay.
No,
because you'll dump it. So will you dump into the Mississippi and then come down a little bit, or is it you done at the end of Missouri or the river?
At St. Louis, I'll hit the Mississippi. I will basically portage around Chain of Rocks, get back in the river, and I've got 141 miles home.
Okay.
So you do this adventure. You did one a couple years ago. What's next? You can't just go sit at home. Like, what's next for you? I can't imagine you. I mean, I know you're going to want to rest for a while, but there's got to be something on the next list.
There's always more rivers. I mean, I've got the Ohio, the Illinois, and the Arkansas to finish out the Mississippi River watershed. But
you could come and fish it. You could come and fish the 51st Gov Cup in July next year out of your kayak, and hey, you know us, so you got a place to hang.
I mean, I was in Fort Peck for the Governor's Cup, but yeah,
you were.
Sure, I was. That was because I had to hold off. I had to hold off until the tournament was over for me to get to the dock.
Oh,
and it's like everybody was like, "Yeah, there's over 200 boats. Just wait." And I'm like, "Okay,
just wait."
Right.
I mean, you try to get 200 boats out of two marinas, and I mean, it's going to take forever.
We know.
Yep. We've done it before.
We did a couple months ago. Yeah, we know exactly that challenge. But that is, what an incredible thing. Are you like looking up, or did you have it all planned out? Like, I need to stop here. Here's my dollar stores, or is it like open my phone, going, okay?
It's it's kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. It's like I have a cheat sheet that has all the boat docks or boat ramps and stuff like that on it. If it has water, if it has a camping site or whatever. Town, if there's a post office or a grocery store or dollar store or something like that, if it's close within walking distance, that's on a cheat sheet. For me planning, no, I don't do all that.
So you really you don't have a timeline then?
No, I have no timeline, and I think it's gonna average out probably around 90 to 100 days, but most of my miles is going to make that I get on the actual flowing river.
Right.
But for planning wise, I mean, I look at, how much food I've got. And that's when I start looking at, what's the next town that has a store, and, do I need to make a 1.5 mile trek with, all my groceries?
Well, you could lighten the load a little if you'd start eating peanut butter and bologna sandwiches. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get some protein and you get some carbs and you get a little sweet and salty. I'm just going to say.
Brian,
I got PB&J.
Look at there.
You are the only man on earth that likes peanut butter and bologna sandwiches. Quit trying to force it off on everybody else.
No, I'm not. At least you've got this. I love that squeezy Jif stuff, isn't it? It's like scientifically, it's amazing. You just squeeze it, and it's like a dog. It just cuts it off, and it's done. It's clean.
Find it. Like the dollar stores and up here, they don't have it up here.
Oh, they don't.
And the bad thing is, I'm on my last one of the squeeze ones. I'm gonna have to go to a jar.
Oh,
which means I'm gonna have to break out the spatula.
Yep. Yeah, that's no fun. I do like the squeeze Jif. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you're gonna have to load. You're gonna have to load up in Chamberlain to make the rest of your journey to Pigstown. Forewarning you, if you run into a problem, I've got plenty of people down in the Platte area. I could probably help you out. So just let us know. I got great friends and great family down there that will definitely help you out if you need help. Have you had to have any help? Have you had any moment on the trip where you're like, hey, help me out, give me a ride, or other than going to some random lady's house and getting water?
The last day on the Wahi, I actually I had a couple, but they were out fishing a point, whatever, and I asked them, that when they were heading in, it's like if they passed me, they still seen me out on the water, if they wouldn't mind towing me back in. I was like, because I had 4 days of wind coming, I was supposed to be stuck 15. But so they ended up, they towed me in, and we loaded my kayak on their boat trailer. They put their boat in the marina, and we went around to the backside of the dam, and they put me in the river. And I'm like, dude, that was great. I'm like, that's 4 days that I'm not stuck on that lake anymore. And I mean, all I skipped was like 12 miles. I'm like, I've 12 miles of lake. I've paddled that at home. I'm like, I'm good.
So you pulled into probably Spring Creek in the marina there.
Yeah.
You drove right by my house. I wish I should have been thinking about this better and been like, hey, I got a ribeye for you.
Fill them up.
And
I was just glad to get off the river. Or off that lake, especially with the winds coming in for 4 days, and it's not what you want to be on a lake, just hanging out, running out of water because you're sitting in a tent drinking because it's hot.
Yeah.
When you're on a Wahi, the wind can be out of whatever direction, but it comes out of 7 different directions all at once. So it's weird.
Like I always told everybody, I says, if it wasn't for a headwind, I wouldn't have wind. And it's like one of the older guys that he's on the Mississippi River or the Missouri River paddlers, he said something about, he says 8 days out of 122. He said, I had 8 days.
Wow.
That sounds about how mine's fixed to be.
And that days are 112 degrees.
Oh. Yeah. I know when I paddled into Tobacco Gardens, it was 105, and I had a 15-mile-an-hour headwind. And then when I crossed into the other
Van Arm Hook?
the other resort that's on Hawaii or on Sac, but it was 101 with zero wind that day. And I'm like, I don't know which one was worse. I mean, the zero wind, I had bite and fly, so bastards were in the middle of the lake biting.
Yeah, did you have any spiders? We had spiders crawling across the water to the boat, trying to get in the boat last weekend. They come running towards me, and I'll make a wave to paddle, so they kind of get tossed around and they don't come to me. It's amazing how they can walk on water.
I don't like spiders. I don't. Oh yeah,
I don't either.
And the wasps do it too. They'll land. Wasp will land,
sure.
And they'll take off again.
Well, Justin, it seems like you're kind of losing cell service there. It's been great to have you on. I'm surprised we made it almost 39 minutes with just 1 or 2 bars there. So thank you so much for trying and succeeding to be on the podcast on Between Hook Sets. And we hope that you have a safe trip all the way down to Missouri and on the Mississippi, and you get back home safely. And we hope to keep in touch with you.
Yeah. I say you got my number. I say you're on Facebook too. So.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And we should let people know. I'll pop this banner up again here real quick, just so we've got it there. We should ask you, how did you get the nickname Castaway?
It was to do with the beard, and then being on the water and with the beard and everything like that. Out here by myself for so many days. They're like, you're gonna look like Tom Hanks in Castaway, and I'm like, dude, I already kind of do.
Yeah. That's the truth. So
But then when
you told me you found Wilson on the Mississippi at one point. Give us that story quick.
yeah, Little Falls. Just come through there. Just happened to be coming along, and there was a spot on the riverbank that was right by some houses that I looked over, and I just seen this little like something blue, and I'm like, "What is that?" And I was like, "No way!" And I started looking at it. It was a blue and white volleyball, and I started laughing. I put it on the front of my kayak, and I took a picture of it, and I posted it on Facebook, and I was like, "No way! I just found Wilson," and I was trying to tag my buddy in it.
Hilarious.
To him, and he's like, "Dude, what the hell?" He says, "You got me all in suspense," and I was like, "I found Wilson." He said, "Oh, I just seen it on Facebook." I'm like, "Well, shit." I'm like, "All right, well, I found Wilson." So
I love it.
hang it up. I'm like, "No, I'm going to leave it the way it is."
That's fantastic. Justin, thank you very much. Justin Graviett. You can follow him on Facebook and on TikTok. My Kayaking Journey. Safe travels to you.
Justin, have a good one, buddy. Thank you. Have safe travels.
Thank you. All right, take care.
Hey,
All right, should we wrap it up there, Kurt? Or whoop?
Oh, we both hit the button, I think.
Yeah, what I wasn't quite sure you were going to do it, and I thought, well, I'm going to get him before he cuts out. So I would guess that there's so much stuff that's happened, and I don't maybe next week we don't have a guest. Maybe we just talk about all the stuff that's going on. There's so many things that's popping. This popped today. This breaking news. All about live sonar, and Ben Milliken has gone a little bit on the crazy side, which he does, that's fine. But maybe we should get into that next Wednesday.
And we got Stockman Livestock Fall Brawl this weekend. Still time to sign up. You can sign up till midnight tomorrow night. Greg Reichen with Stockman Livestock. We're hosting the Fall Brawl on the Lake Oahe out of rules being at Cow Creek at the Outpost Soup Building. Take off at Spring Creek. No boundaries, 1 tank of gas, 5 fish, up to 3-person team. And First National Bank of Sioux Falls has put up $5,000 added money. So it's over 100% payback, depending in 60 teams, we're just over 100. The more we go, the more teams, the less teams we get, the more payback it is. So there's $5,000 added money. Still time to get in tomorrow night. Midnight's the last night to get in that. Stockman's Livestock is also donating a steak dinner. There's free steak dinner Friday night. There's free shirts for everybody that are fishing the tournament. So pretty awesome from Stockman Livestock and all the sponsors involved in that. But yeah, we're going to have a ton of things going on. And a lot of stuff has happened in the fishing world, a lot of stuff, but it was fun to take a break from that tonight, to get a different concept. That's why we call it Between Hook Sets, because a lot of things in life happen between hook sets. So yes, we are a majority fishing based podcast, but we get to hear stories like Justin kayaking the river, or this fall talk to somebody who shoots a big elk, or who knows where we're going to go. So follow along if you guys like it, like, share, like the fishing crew, like Chase and Walters on Facebook and YouTube. Share it out, guys. We really appreciate everybody following along. Dustin wants to talk. Let's talk hunting. Yeah. You're going to want to talk snow bear ice fishing here before anything. The other day I was talking to Dustin on the phone, and he's like, I don't know about you, but I'm super jacked for ice fishing. I go, you completely forgot about fall hunting, bud. And that's coming up. I mean, I got a paddle fish tag for Yankton that's coming, so can't wait to go paddle fishing down there. We got a lot of stuff going on. We don't like to schedule our guests ahead of time because you never know. You never know if you're going to run into Justin on a Saturday on Lake Oahe and you need to put him on. So we got a lot of things coming. Hope everybody's enjoying what they're seeing every Wednesday night. I truly enjoy doing it.
I do too.
And
I love it. Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about in the fishing world coming up, and we got a lot of things to talk about in the outdoors period coming up. So pretty excited about that. the NWT championship going on right now. What do you got going on there? Pretty tough day out there for a lot of those guys.
That's my gangster hat I got from Tony Wynn. I was going to meet him in Chicago and then go to Saginaw and then go up to Escada or what, I can't pronounce it. Anyway, I was going to go to the championship and hang with Tom and Tony, and I guess Chase and Tommy Kimos are there too. They sent me pictures last night and gave me the hello. But Tony sent me the hat and some fun stuff. And he said, you're going to either have to keep it flat or bend it. I don't know if I dare bend it, but I'm definitely not the gangsta type.
Tom even said on stage today, I don't think you watched live. I did. Tom said, there's my brother from the same mother, but a different barber. That's how he introduced us at the Classic. I don't know if anybody can find a picture of Tony Wynn, but if you know Tom Wynn, he's clean cut dude. Tony has dreads down to the back of his calves. It is pretty impressive what he has.
All the way to his heels. I've got pictures on my Facebook page if anybody's looking. So
great, dude. So got a lot of things coming up, guys. Please stick around. Follow along, share it out. We love to grow it. That's what this is all about. It's been a ton of fun. I can't wait for the future. I look forward to Wednesday nights. And some weeks it's crazy because we're calling each other, going, who we getting on? Right. But it always seems to work out.
Like tonight, it worked out perfectly because you're like, who are we going to have on? I have an idea. And it was great that Justin joined us. This is what he looks like if you happen to see him on the Missouri River, heading south of Pierre and making his way all the way to basically, I guess, the Mississippi because he's going to Cape Girardeau. So there we go.
And anybody watching it south of us, somebody get that man a steak.
Yeah, no doubt. Feed that boy. All right. Hey, you guys have a wonderful night tonight and enjoy the cooler weather coming Friday and Saturday.
Hey, thank you.
All right.